What is up, everybody? It's Caleb Bruce here, PDGA number 101944. Currently on Team Discmania and sponsored by Basket Case Disc Golf Store out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is my 2023 beginning of season in the bag. I'm currently carrying the Grip B Series Discmania Jetpack. Very cool, just got it, and let's start out with my putting putters. I putt with Flex 2 P2s with the CB stamp on them. Currently really liking these in the colder weather. When it gets a little bit warmer outside, I'm going to switch back to my prototype P2s. Next, I have my throwing putters. I currently carry 3. We're going to start from the least stable. I have a very beat up Exosoft Logic. This thing's very flippy. Hammer it on hyzer, it'll turn up quick, push, and have a right fade to it. Next is a Flex 2 P2. This one's actually pretty overstable. I can power grip it, rip on it, and trust it to go dead straight, maybe even finish a little bit left. And lastly, I have this new Flex 2 D-Line P1. It's a very straight putter. If I hammer on this, it'll turn, not as quiet as much as the Logic, but it's a nice understable putter. I can really control it, and I like to do air bounce shots with it. Next I have is my overstable approach putter, the Razor Claw 3 Tactic in the Metaplastic. Love this for sidearms and hammering on backhands. I can get it to push between 270 and 300 feet if I hammer on it hard on a backhand. Sidearm, I'm usually just comfortable anything under 250 with my Razor Claw 3. Alright, next are my mid-ranges. I'm going to start from least stable. I carry an original Midnight Prowl in the Meta Plastic. This is a Meta Origin Kyle Klein Signature Series. Love that disc. Next is an S-Line MD1. Avery Jenkins got this one for me from the Discmania factory. Really loving this thing for hyzer flip shots that push dead straight. And if I back off on it a little, I'll even hyzer out on the end. And next is a surprising disc that I didn't think would make my lineup. Is the Discmania Active Premium Tailor. This is like one of the most underrated discs in the Discmania lineup. It's like a little brother to the MD3, if I had to say. I just really like the feel of this. It gives me confidence when I throw it. I can trust it in a little bit of wind, but mainly I use it for kind of a semi-overstable pushing hyzer approach shots with my mid-ranges. And then next I throw a Neo Mutant. This is kind of a utility disc for me. I can hammer on it with forehand and backhand. Next up is my fairway drivers. We're going to start with speed first. This is the new S-Line FD. So far, really liking this disc. Thrown it a handful of times, but I really enjoy the grip of the S-Line FD. Turns a little bit more than the stock C-Line FDs, which are pretty overstable. Next is a Metal Flake FD. This thing is a little less stable than your stock C-Line FDs. This is a double stamp. I really like throwing this thing. It's got a good amount of dome on it, and it flies dead straight for me, even with a bunch of power. The next fairway driver is a Lux Instinct. This is a little bit more overstable than a C-Line FD. It flies very similar kind of to a T-Bird or Athena. Really like this Lux plastic with the vinyl Discmania stamp, so I'm really liking this Lux Instinct. Let's see here. Let's go with FD3s next. I carry 2 FD3s. I got one old Innova FD3. Can't quite get this out of the bag yet. This one I put on hyzer, it pops up and turns a little bit. But at the end of the flight, it's got that overstable FD3 finish. So I really like this disc, and I can't quite find a replacement for it yet. Next is a new Metal Flake FD3. These are pretty overstable. They have a little bit more of a blunt edge. But yeah, really like this for forehand approach shots up to 300 feet, 330 feet. And even backhand hyzers, control hyzers. Let's go next is an old C-Line CD2. I've had this in the bag for 2 or 3 years now, and it's just, I have a lot of faith in this disc. I use it for short rollers, kind of get out of jail situations on forehands, and even tunnel shots that I need to go dead straight. I'll hammer on hyzer, get the pop flat, and go dead straight. And my last disc in the fairway driver lineup is a Meta Splice. This thing is insanely overstable. It's basically a throwable tilt. I can throw it like this, and it's eventually, if I give it enough height, if it's gonna flex out of it and get right. I can't hardly throw this disc backhand. If I'm throwing it over the top, or even for grenade shots, which I rarely throw, but really, really liking this Meta Splice. Next is my control drivers, or a power driver. This is the new S-Line PD. I'm really liking this disc. I can barely get it to pop up flat, but it's got really good glide and can handle a lot of power, even for touch forehands up to 330 feet. I really like the new S-Line PD. And then the Niklas Antilla Nordic Phenom. This one's pretty overstable. It's a little bit more dense, it feels like, in the hand. Not quite as soft as the new S-Line PD, but overall, I really like the feel of the Nordic Phenom, and it flies good for me. Lastly, I'm going to get into my distance drivers. I do carry a new blue Horizon Discmania DD1. Love this disc. I can get this disc to pop up and turn roughly 450-ish feet. If I throw it too hard, it'll kind of turn and burn on me, but when I'm really trying to hit a gap and stay confident, go dead straight and drift a little bit right, I'm throwing the Discmania DD1. Next are my DD3s. I have an old S-Line DD3. This one's my roller DD3. I can throw it on hyzer to pop up flat, turn, and finish right. It's very beat up, very understable. The next is a C-Line DD3. It's semi-overstable. It's not by no means overstable. This is my main forehand disc, and I'll also throw it on pushing hyzer shots. If I throw it hard enough on hyzer, it'll pop up flat, drift a little bit right, and then finish back hard at the end. Then my newest addition to the bag is the S-Line DD3. It is a bomber straight out of the box. I can throw it on hyzer and I can get it to fly 450 plus feet. Sometimes, if I catch it just right, I can break over that 500 barrier. Next up is an old disc in my bag, a Cloudbreaker 2 that I stamped at the Discmania warehouse. This thing's still got plenty of life left in it. This is my overstable distance driver. I like to hammer this on anhyzer and get a full flight out of it. And lastly, one of my all-time favorites, it's an Eagle McMahon Run S-Line Swirly PD2. It's another good forehand disc for me. It's been in the bag a long time, still got plenty of life left in it. Love throwing on backhand hyzers and forehands, and yeah, it's a staple in my bag from even my in the bag 3 or 4 years ago. So really liking this disc. Thanks for watching my 2023 in the bag. I'm sure it'll change by the end of the year, so we might have to do an updated in the bag toward the end of the season. Thanks for watching. Stay reliant. Go Team Discmania.